Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another session of the Healing Family Wounds magazine. My name is Gladys Beri and I am your editor-in-chief and your host. Today I am being joined in the studio by leaders in our community, and I will give a minute for each person to introduce themselves and tell us why they honored our invitation to come talk about leadership in the African family system in the diaspora.
I guess I have to be the first, huh?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. MCJB here, IT specialist. I've been working now for the state of Minnesota for 5 past years. Actually, IT for about 10 to 12 years now. Thank you.
My name is Bruno Njowir. I am a licensed financial professional and a business consultant. I work primarily with families and business owners to design financial strategies that can help them foster their families and, of course, help them stabilize and or build and transfer wealth.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. My name is Dr. Richard Oni. I'm also a mental health practitioner and director of services and training at Progressive Individual Resources in Minnesota. And this is an organization that works with a lot of immigrant population in the area of mental health. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Oni.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is MC Ola, United Nations Peace Ambassador, Black Excellence Honoree, and a mental health advocate.
Welcome, MC Ola.
Hi guys, my name is Hycent Kwende. I'm a nurse and a realtor. And the reason why I'm here today is I just want to express what I think it should be beneficial to the community. Because we've been holding things behind. We just have to have that mind switch of say, hey, put yourself out there, help others. The little that you have, you don't know everything, but you can put whatever you know that you think can be beneficial to your community. That's why I'm here today.
Thank you, Mr. Hycent. Thank you, everybody, for coming to share your wisdom. I am very excited about the diversity in our group today. And which are the different African countries that we have represented here?
Cameroon?
Yes, Cameroon.
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Cameroon.
Yes. And behind the camera, we have David from Ghana. Please give it up for David for doing all the work for us. I know. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Our topic for today is leadership without burnout. And when we talk about leadership in the African family system, today we are focusing on our men, our husbands, our brothers, our fathers, and our cousins. We come to honor your leadership, and we come to engage you in a conversation to explore ideas on what is working as far as leadership and how we can support each other to prevent burnout in leadership in our family systems. So I am curious what your thoughts are on the different things that are causing the burnout in African men.
Well, you're a lady, and I'm going to ask you the first question. Are men truly loved in the African home?
Interesting.
Yeah, so that right there, I know it's kind of like a rhetorical question, but to avoid burnout, I think most African men are supposed to be shown love. And love can come from various aspects, and us African men, sometimes we really feel and think that we are not being loved or the love is not being reciprocated. So we tend to actually go closer to our guys, because we think men will understand us, maybe play soccer together, play other games together and try to get a bottle and stuff like that together, because we feel our wives are kind of like secluded a little bit from us. That's what I think. And I always try to make sure that an African man should be recognized, be it traditional, religious-wise, and also be that father figure and actually get the love from your house first before expecting that love out of your house.
Thank you so much, JB, for your honesty and your authenticity. If I understood you, one of the reasons that African men are engaging in meeting with their friends to play soccer and to drink and all of those is a behavioral adaptation or a coping mechanism because they are not feeling loved in the home. Thank you so much. So this is a listening session for me and for all the ladies out there, right? We will just listen and learn to understand better. Thank you so much. Mr. Bruno.
Thank you. The topic of burnout is so undervalued, if I can put it, for lack of better words, because a lot of men feel the burnout, but the communication is very limited because most men are quote unquote considered, silent. We don't talk about feelings, we don't express feelings, so to speak. And, in my area of expertise in the financial sector, the main reason why I went into finance is because there was a time in my life where I, quote unquote felt, I ran out of juice because I was trying everything I thought I knew. All right, immigrating to the United States with no foundational understanding of how the United States works, taxes, income, money, everything, bills and everything, all of that. I had no idea how to cope. And there was no information or no one out there helping me or, a system or strategy to adapt to. And so I did what everyone else was doing. But down the line, I realized things were not working. The bills were piling, the credit cards were piling, everything was frustrating. I was making less at my job, and there was no resource out there to help me. All right. So the burnout was internal because at the end of the month, when those calls are coming in, the creditors are calling, I have to deal with that as individually.
Right.
And when we get around and talk to friends or community leaders, and no one is offering a solution, to how I can get out of debt. That's my main pain point. All right. That's what keeps me up at night. And no one is providing the solution for me out there. And then I have to probably watch, YouTube videos or, rely on someone from maybe a different community, if I can put it that way, to provide those resources. I think that is part of the reason why most men feel the burnout is because information is not readily available. Or, they don't find more people of their kin, providing those services, so to speak. So from a financial standpoint is that educational, aspect that is missing in most African families, especially men, to where you can learn how to make more money, learn how to manage the money for the family, right? Learn how to invest and grow that fund and feel financially secure to where you can hang out with family, be okay with the kids. You're not triggered by any financial request that comes in or family calling, and I think the burnout comes from just lack of understanding or lack of knowledge, so to speak. So we can address that, educational aspect, especially from a financial standpoint. I think that kind of releases the pain point for most African men.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Mr. Bruno. So if I understood you, there is a lot of silence about the things we do not know, topics such as finances, and not having people of our culture teach us or educate us about the financial pressures that we face in the diaspora. And so we internalize that and we burn out because we're not even seeking help, or we don't have the people to help us, the support systems to help us with that. Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I guess I want to address the issue of burnout. My question is, men really don't understand when they burn out. A lot of time we overuse this word burnout. That doesn't make a lot of meaning to some men. My area is in mental health and well-being, and I've seen men. I will be the one to tell them that, do you know this is what you are feeling? Because they don't even understand the definition of burnout. They work hard, men must be men, man must be man. That is how they define themselves. And so because of that, it's so hard for them to come down to that level of emotional exchange or even evaluation of themselves to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. They cannot articulate what that really means. They may say, I'm tired. They may say, I feel this way. But they cannot articulate it to burn out. It is professionals that really label that word on people to say this is burnout. They themselves do not see that. They see themselves as say, I overwork myself. They can say all those words, but emotionally it does not align with burnout. In Africa, we all know we do not do anything preventative. We do what we call curative. I'm sick today, I can't bite this bone. That means my teeth is hurting me. I need to see a dentist. Right. There's no plan to say every 6 months I see my dentist. Or every 6 months I see my ophthalmologist. It's only when I cannot see my glasses, I forget, they don't even have glasses sometimes. And so a lot of those things require, as a leader, if you don't know, what you don't know, you can't teach it. So leaders sometimes don't even know what they can teach the people behind them or their followers. And so it is important to also reintegrate a lot of our African leaders because they are used to, this is how we used to do it. And when it comes to emotional regulation, the fear of what I call community gossip syndrome, that is pertaining to when people hear about this, that I'm seeing Gladys for something that is so personal, they say, are you sure Gladys will not share this with Cameroonian community? That is gossip syndrome, that fear people, the fear of unknown. So the burnout thing, we need to realign that and teach leaders to really articulate that and explain that to them so that they can explain it to their followers. We have more to say, but that's all I want to say about that now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oni. Permit me to just have a follow-up question for you, because one of the key points you made was that African men do not recognize when they have burnt out. Can you help us identify for someone sitting out there, what are some of the symptoms they might feel when they are burnt out?
Well, sometimes when men from my own profession, when I notice certain things about men, for example, they quickly snap on things. Little things snap them because they have been internalizing a lot of things, and so there's no room anymore. And so any little thing will just set them off. And so when you start seeing that, they become very impatient, even with their own kids. Papa, I need this. Get out, go and sit down. It's because of those things that they cannot articulate to say, this is how I'm feeling. They are just saying, I'm tired. They use a lot of tiredness for their own burnout. And so for me, I would say when you feel this way, when you feel you cannot really have patience with people, little thing triggers you. Sometimes people will say, even your wife will say, is there anything more than this? What I just said now, what that mean? And that is where the issue of clashing come up, because the poor woman who just said little things could not tell that the man would take that to that level of saying, so many things that becomes a problem in the house. So my role would be to really get them to say, do you feel this way when things like this happen? So I need to be using some examples for them at that time, depending on the situation. And so when they come to me, and another thing that I notice is when men go to barber shop, they throw a lot of words there. That is where they tell about things that they won't even tell their wife, because they see other men talking and talking. So when somebody says it, they say, yeah, I'm feeling the same way. So we decide to do a study in the barber shop, and we train the barber of things to be writing down. For us, it's a project. And we notice that the same thing with women. So when they go to do their fingernails and all those things, they talk about those things. And so it's a safe space for them when they're in the barber shop, because they're seeing other men sharing their experiences. And that is why we have what we call group therapy sometimes, so that people can share similar experiences. And then they learn from each other to say, how did you do with that when you snap on your kid or your mother or your wife? How did they address it? And then you use that as a teachable moment for those men to show what burnout really means.